So in this video I'm going to talk about the Dogtra ARC, which is one of the most popular collars that we sell. It's the collar that Cindy uses. A lot of my friends use this collar. We're going to go through the unboxing part of this. I'll show you what comes in it, and then I'm going to explain what the features are. Obviously, you have a transmitter. Although this is a multi-dog unit, when you buy it the first time, it only comes set up for one dog. So it has one receiver, one transmitter. You can buy additional receivers if you want. We'll go into that in a minute. It comes with a belt clip and a little light that you can hold on to the probes on it when you are going to push the stimulation button, and it'll light up. I should say right now that if you hold these light probes onto the probes on your collar and you push the vibrate button, the light will not come on. It only comes on when you push the stimulation button. There is a charger that plugs into the transmitter and plugs into the receiver on the collar. Now, here's how you turn the unit on. When you turn the unit on, you take the red dot that's on the back of your transmitter and put it right to the red dot that's on the lower side of your receiver. And when you first put it on, you're going to see the light here turn green. When you want to turn it off, you put it back and the light turns red. You don't have to hold it a long time. Green, red. When your unit is turned on, there is a little light. When the collar's charged, this little light, and the collar's turned on, the little light will flash green. As you use your collar and the amount of charge that's in the collar is depleted, it will go from green to yellow, and then when you get down to the point where you need to recharge it now, it'll turn to red. So you have green, yellow, and red. Back to your transmitter. Let me go through the features on this first. So to turn this collar on, you push this blue button on the side, and you can see when you turn it on, the collar comes on. We have it set to 0, and you can see that it goes up to 127. Now there's another feature that you can see on this collar, and that is that if you just tap the blue button, think of it like this: a blue button puts a blue light on your dial. If I just tap that, you can see there's a blue light on it. That comes in handy if you're out training at night. So it will time out after just a few seconds, but then every time you change the stimulation level, it comes back on. So you can see what you have it set at. But then again, that's going to time out on you there. But when you add stimulation, the blue light's going to come back on, and it'll time out. You can vibrate, the blue light comes on for a few seconds, and it times out. If you don't want the blue light, all you have to do is touch the blue button on the side, the on and off button, touch it again. Now, if we do stimulation, there's no blue light. It's set up so that the buttons on the front are the vibrate buttons. The buttons on the side are the stimulation buttons. If you're going to run this as a one-dog unit, the only buttons that are going to work for you are the black button on the top and the black button on the side. The black button on the top is vibration. The black button on the side is stimulation. There's a little switch above the black button. When that switch is all the way up, it's set for momentary. So when you push it, you're going to momentarily get this bam, real quick little stim on your dog. When you take that button and push it down, it's continuous. It's really easy to do. You can feel it with your finger. So easy, because the switch sticks out just enough for you to feel it. Up is vibrate, down is stimulation. The transmitter is good for 3/4 of a mile. I'm going to put the caveat with that. That depends on what's between you and that dog at 3/4 of a mile. I'm the last one that's going to tell you that if you're in the heavy woods and you push this button to stimulate your dog and he's 3/4 of a mile away, there's a good chance that it's not going to stimulate your dog. For most pet owners, quite frankly, they're not going to let their dog get more than 50 yards away from them, so it's plenty fine for that. You know, the people that might take advantage of the 3/4 mile option or the 3/4 mile feature are hunting dog people that are out hunting, you know, in an open field where they have clear line of sight between them and their dog. So I don't want to put this 3/4 of a mile thing to bed and say it doesn't work in all cases. It's just depends upon what's between you and your dog. So that's what we have here. The collar itself comes with probes that are stainless steel probes. On dogs that have a real thick or a long coat, the probes can be longer, but you have to buy the extenders or a different set of probes. They screw in, so you'd screw these out, buy the longer ones and put them in. Now the nice thing, I want to go back and talk about the transmitter, is that this transmitter and this system can be a multi-dog system. When you get it with one receiver, the button on the top is the button that's functional. So the top black button works with the transmitter that comes with it, vibrates on the top, stimulates on the right-hand side. The orange button, when you get it, if you're only operating one dog, orange button does nothing on either button. You can change it if you want to repair it. That doesn't mean fix it. It means pair it so that the transmitter, or pardon me, the receiver, is then paired to the lower button. But if you pair them, and we're going to talk about pairing in a minute, but if you pair this so that this receiver functions off those two orange buttons, then the top black buttons are not going to work. You cannot get this unit to have all four buttons working with one receiver. It's a multi-dog unit. Now what does that mean? It means that if you want to set your collar up like we have for years with a lot of the working dogs, when I was on the sheriff's department and worked with my police canine dogs, I would put two receivers on one strap, put it on the dog's neck. The reason for that was not so I could double shock the dog. The reason for that was not so I could shock him twice as hard as I would before, because 99% of the time when I train my dogs and when we train here at Leerburg, we're doing low-level stimulation training. This video is not about training, but I did want to make the point that if you're going to put two receivers on a dog, and I think it's a good idea, you have to buy a second receiver. When you put it on there, you're going to have to pair it. But the purpose for doing it is two reasons. Number one, you don't have to have your collar on as tight with two, because if the dog's leaning this way, he's going to get stimulation or vibration from this receiver. If he leans this way, he's going to get stimulation or vibration from the unit that's on this side. And when you train with these, even at low-level stimulation, sometimes the dogs, when you stimulate them, have a reflex. In other words, if it's right underneath their chin and you stimulate them, they jerk back a little bit. It's just because it feels a little goofy. If it's here and you stimulate them, they can move away from it. If it's here, they can move away from it. But if you have two receivers on the dog, it gives the stimulation or the vibration around the whole neck, so you have less of a movement on the dogs when they do get stimulation. Now we're going to pair it. To pair it, you put the two buttons together and you hold them until this starts to blink. It's in the pairing mode. Now we're going to push the black front and the black side at the same time. It went out, and we know it's going to work because I'm assuming you can hear that. I'm going to put it right next to my thing. And that's another feature of this blue light. If the light, we just turn the light off by punching the power button. If I stimulate it now, the light doesn't come on. I'm going to turn the light back on. It's blue. it's going to time out. But if I use either the stimulation or the vibration, the light comes on for a split second, and then it'll time out on its own. So you get a light here, and you get the light here, so you know it's working. Push the stimulation here, and you'll get your light. Your green light will work here, so you know that's working too. There's two different ways you can tell that your collar is functional, this way or get that light on the inside. Take your light, put it on your receiver, hold it on. Keep in mind now that your electrodes are only going to get power on stimulation, not on vibration. So on vibration it doesn't light up, but if you hit the stimulation, it does light up. So I went through this all pretty quickly, but it's not that difficult for you to see.